A thread by Chris Bowen. Big developments and substantial progress that should not be underscored for Georgia, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. You're not getting what is happening on the ground by the mainstream media other than Newsmax, so here's the latest. Georgia. Over 27,000 people over the age of 90 are found to have voted, including 2,000 over the age of 100. Another 500 have been found to have voted who are 105 and over. This is in the process of verification. Georgia. 2,500 people voted illegally who are not registered to vote. These voters are being contacted and the ballots will be excluded. Wisconsin. 6 counties of the 60 that make up Wisconsin were found to have turnout vastly higher than the rest of the state, so much so that the turnout exceeded that of Obama's in 2008 and Trump's in 2016 by double digits. The rest of Wisconsin's turnout was lower, and it's highly likely that in these critical and targeted counties, ballot stuffing was occurring. This is one reason the audit was triggered. Bear in mind, Wisconsin's process was set up by Governor Walker, and it's extremely thorough. This isn't just a simple recount. This is a process that identifies irregularities and corrects them. Georgia and Wisconsin will flip, and with Arizona, the electoral vote will be tied. Why does a tie matter? Because this will go to the House of Representatives to decide the election. Each state has one vote, and even though Democrats control the House, Republicans control that process because a majority of Republican delegations are held in the House. Pennsylvania. Big development here. The Speaker of the House for Pennsylvania announced that he wants to conduct an audit of the state's election results to determine who the rightful winner should be. The state legislature owns the authority to certify the electors, not the governor, not the Secretary of State, the legislature. He's doing this because there exists increasing evidence that the election was indeed not fair. Pennsylvania, 105,000 provisional ballots have not been counted yet. These were election day voters who had inadvertently voted in the wrong place. In-person election day voters heavily broke for Trump. We know how these will break. In Pennsylvania also, 630,000 ballots show late voters, which will be adjudicated by the Supreme Court when Election Day procedures are officially challenged by the Trump campaign. The basis for this challenge? The state legislature has decided that there will be no counting of late ballots. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania overruled and stated they could count 3 days after. This was litigated, and the Supreme Court of the United States decided not to hear by a split vote of 4-4 at the time. That split has now changed with Barrett on the court, and they'll most likely hear the case. What the Pennsylvania Supreme Court decided on by allowing 3 days after Election Day should be deemed unconstitutional. Justice Alito reaffirmed the Supreme Court decision to separate the late ballots, which Pennsylvania election officials ignored. They ignored a Supreme Court ruling. They've screwed themselves because they mixed the ballots, and being unable to determine which is which, the ballots will be excluded in the end.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.